Hi, this is Are You Kristen, and I'm here with my 100 Days of All About Me album. This is day 1 through 50 walkthrough. You can learn more about this awesome project at theawesomeladiesproject.com/100days. I'm keeping my album simple. Here I'm going to show you a few of my supplies. My album is in this 4x4 We Are Memory Keepers album, and for each day I'm using one of these 4x4 cardstock journaling cards. These are left over from a project I did a couple years back, but you can cut down any 4x4 journaling cards if you want to make your project like mine, or use any type of creative project that you like. Traveler's notebooks are super popular right now. Adding this to your planner or any other creative project. The other thing that I'm doing is using a lot of stamps, especially alphabet stamps. Here are a few of my favorite sets that I've been using. It's a small set that I have from Studio Calico from like 10 years ago. This is a stamp set I designed and will be bringing back to the shop later this fall. And here is a Tim Holtz stamp set with foam stamps that I use frequently throughout the album. I use a lot of black ink. My favorite black ink is this VersaFine black ink, as well as several different colors of pigment ink. And I have these used throughout the album. I'm gonna put these away. You can hear me sticking them right back in the drawer underneath here. I also use these two clear acrylic blocks and this fun stamping scrub that I got from Stampin' Up! Again like 10 years ago, back in college. That helps me, oh wow, it takes up like the whole screen. That lets me clean my stamps as soon as I finish using them, because I get ink all over my hands and all over my projects, as you can see right here on my day 1. So day 1 was What is your name? My name's Kristen. You can also might know me as Are You Kristen on the internet. I've got several nicknames depending on who you ask. Let's flip over to day 2. I was born and raised in North Jersey. Some of my hobbies include video games, crafting, coding, watching the NFL, reading the news, and of course scrapbooking. I currently live in East Lansing, Michigan, and I went to Rutgers University. I do a lot of reading on my iPhone, and so this page over here on the left is a mind map of all of the different periodicals that I read on my Apple News throughout the day. Day 7 was about what are your talents, and I think two of my biggest talents are having empathy and research and understanding. My favorite holidays are basically any food-related holiday. I love Christmas, I love Thanksgiving, I love Passover, and we're getting ready to celebrate Rosh Hashanah here over the weekend, and I'm super excited to plan that menu out later tonight. Because, as you see on day 9 here, I really love cooking. I love to cook, I love making food, I love making meals, I love serving it to people. It's totally one of my love languages. I'll flip over how I relax. Cooking is one way that I relax. Video games is another way to relax for me. Spending time in my garden has been a great way for me to relax this summer. Day 11 is what is your birthday? So I did some stamping, right? I did some stamping, background stamping with the January stamp set from the month's stamp set you can find in the Awesome Lady shop. And then 30th, right there in the middle. Number 12 is what are your favorite characters? I picked some characters from Westworld, I picked some characters from Game of Thrones, and still my favorite character is definitely Leslie Knope from Parks and Recreation. Day 13 is about what is your comfort food? And I picked the two, you can see I use these Tim Holtz stamp a couple of pages throughout my album. I really like how they are big and bold and you can draw around them and stamp around them, but they really do take up the title really well and give you a good idea of exactly what's going on right there at the forefront. So my comfort food is homemade, and we eat a lot of meat, but we eat a ton of vegetables, and we grow a lot of our vegetables, and I love going out and picking our food in the afternoon and cooking it here at night. It's one of my favorite things in the whole world. So I totally did this one upside down. So I'm going to take it out so that you can read it. And it's about how I do some self-care. So again, it's cooking homemade food for myself. It's one of my biggest things. I do so much better feeling-wise, emotions-wise, when I eat healthy. And cooking my own food and eating food from the garden is one of the best ways for me to do that. I also have multiple support systems, and I also create and I make and I build. Those are absolutely the best ways that I can take care of myself. And over here on day 15, this is about what kind of music do you listen to. So I listen to dance and I Disney and folk songs and ladies songs, and I keep a lot of music on Spotify playlists by season. So not only do I know what I'm listening to, I'm also keeping like memories of what was fun and what I was really into at a specific time. Over onto the next pages, 16 and 17. Over on 16, it was how the question was, how do you identify, whether it was like racially or ethnically or whatever? And I put little identity boxes here for white, American, some European descent, cis female, not straight, INFJ. I live with chronic pain, and I put them into boxes because I think those categories can really box people in at times. And I didn't want to spend like 100 words journaling about that, so I found using boxes was a quick and easy way to visually get that message across. And over here on 17, I have sleep habits. Um, Sleep is also really important. So I get chronic headaches, and they're every day, and they're kind of terrible. But I have a really great neurologist, and with her help, I've been able to really manage them so that now, instead of having terrible headaches every single day without any relief, I've gotten to the place where I can manage them a lot. And sleep is one of the biggest things that really helps me able to manage my headaches on a daily basis. So my sleep habit is super important to me. Um, I'm gonna flip over here to 18. I think 18 is probably my favorite page. The question was, what is your favorite color? And my favorite colors definitely vary. My single favorite color might be gray. Like if you look at all the things I have and look at all of the clothes that I wear, if you're judging it on that, it would probably be gray. But I love when things are black and white and just a pop of color. You can see that on the Awesome Ladies website. You can see that throughout my house, my clothes, and I love how this came out. And number 19 was, how do you use your internet device? Um, no, I'm sorry. It was, do you use your phone for talking on the internet? So these questions are like super open-ended. There's a general prompt, and then I ask 3 or 4 more open-ended questions in the email that you receive each day. And for me, I use my iPhone as an internet device, but I am not a huge fan of it being a telephone. I'm not a huge phone person. The only people I really talk to on the phone are my parents, and that's usually on Sundays. So it's more of a ritual thing, but I absolutely love having a little internet device right at my hands. 20 was, are you an introvert or an extrovert? And I am a classic introvert. I love people. I'm an INFJ. I love people, but they are super exhausting. And once I've had enough time with people, I definitely need a nap or some time away. 21 was, what is the best live performance you've ever seen? And the best live performance for me was this performance we saw of 1776 at the City Center in New York City last year. It was absolutely amazing. So we'll flip over to 22, and it was, what type of house do you have? Where is your home? What do you live in? And we have this cute little mid-century modern house here in East Lansing, Michigan. Love it so much, and I used used colors similar to what we have here in the house to help decorate that page. Number 23 is, how do you spend time on the internet? And over here, I wanted to talk a little bit more about how I've been using the internet since I was a teenager, and using social media since, the year 1997 or 1998. That's always been a part of my life. Number 24 really talks about illness, and I get to talk a little bit more here about my chronic daily headaches. They're a big part of my life, so they needed a space here in my All About Me album. Uh, Number 25 over here is what's your favorite movie? And I'm not a huge movie person. And my favorite movie growing up was The Princess Bride. Throughout high school, throughout college, it's still like old standard for me. That is my number one favorite. But my latest favorite movie is Baby Driver. And if you haven't seen it, I think it just came out on like the streaming services. I think you can get it on iTunes right now. It's fantastic. The movie is amazing. The music is incredible, and they didn't use any CGI, so just be amazed because it's fantastic. It's so cool. Number 26 was about your first memory, and my first memory is walking downstairs and seeing my granny and her telling me that my parents had gone to the hospital so that my baby sister could be born. Number 27 is about your daily routine, and my daily routine is pretty set. I work from home, so I wake up, I take my morning medicines, I get something to eat, I do some work, and after work, we do some TV and some games here. And then I take more medicine and I go to sleep. I really love my daily routine. It's pretty awesome, especially now that I don't have terrible headaches each day. So these are two of my favorite pages. They're super minimalist. I really like how the teal contrasted with the green though. So 28 was how do you use the internet? So I use the internet for work. I built the Awesome Ladies website myself, and I use various social media and cloud-based sites to run it. And over here on 29 was how do you spend your time outside? Right now, I spend most of my time outside in the garden. We have a pretty robust tomato garden, and we have about 300 tomato plants and about 200 other different plants. And over here, question 30 segues right into that. Um, my relationship was about the question was about relationships with vegetables, and my relationship with sorry about that. My relationship with vegetables has really blossomed over the last couple of years because we've been able to um, start our own vegetable garden here in Michigan. There's so much more space, and we have such a wonderful backyard here that we have been able to start growing such incredible amounts of wonderful produce. It's such a fantastic endeavor to see them from seeds to baby plants to full grown plants, and then to be able to eat the incredible fruits that they produce. It's just like the best thing in the whole world. Over here on 31 was what's your favorite song? Um, and I went a little bit different with this. Like I went with, what song would I want to sing if it were like my turn at karaoke. So I picked Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid. I've been really into that lately. My number one karaoke song is Before He Cheats by Carrie Underwood. If you ever come over and we play Rock Band, that is my song. And also Sinner Man by Nina Simone. So flipping over here to 32. This was one of the most difficult questions, I think, for everybody. I noticed on Instagram there were a lot of us that struggled with this one. It was, who was the most interesting person you've ever met? And I think that it's really hard to talk about like most interesting person because people are so interesting for so many different reasons. I mean, I went with that and journaled about how I love meeting unique people, and it's been always one of my favorite things is to talk to different people from around the world, people who have lived in different experiences, people who have had different lives, people who choose to be different, people who choose to be live in the communities they have grown up in, people who choose to move out of the communities they've grown up in. I just really love meeting unique people and hearing about their stories of the stories of their lives. 33 is about your family, and so here I decided to concentrate just on my immediate family here in Michigan. It's just me and my partner Jeff. I flip over. It's about how do you use your computer. Um, I just brought out my PC from my office into my studio so I could start doing more videos, and I totally forgot how powerful PCs are. I've been using a Chromebook for the last couple of years to do most of my blogging tasks, and I'm super excited that I now have this awesome powered PC right here to do all of these great, powerful computer things again. 35 is about climate, and in Michigan, we definitely have all four seasons. Last week, well, 2 weeks ago now at this point, um, it was very cold. It was 50 most of the days, didn't get above 55, and in the nights we dipped into the high 30s. And I was really nervous about all of my plants dying, but no fear because every day this week is going to be in the upper 80s. So my tomatoes are going to do just fine. And 36 was what's your relationship with sports? And I love football. I love the NFL, and it can drive me crazy sometimes because it's racist, it's sexist, it's all of these terrible things. But it's family, and family can be all of those terrible things. And in some ways, it can bring out the best of people, and in some ways, it can bring out the worst of people. And for better or worse, it's one of those things that is part of my life. 37 is about your weekly schedule, and so I used days of the week stamps and stamped them down the side, and then on the days that I have specific tasks, I put them over there in the left. Flip over to 38, and here are the TV shows that I'm watching or that I'm really into right now. And I wasn't really necessarily going for anything specific. Here are a couple categories. Again, I have the NFL, I have Netflix and Hulu, and a couple of shows that I'm super excited that are coming back, like Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, Jane the Virgin, Friday, October 13th. Set your calendars. They're going to be amazing. Um, Game of Thrones was going on when I wrote this on day 38. So, um, I guess it's probably about time for me to start watching that again, right? Uh, but I am a huge TV person. I love watching TV, and that's probably my number one form of entertainment. 39 was how do you feel about flowers? And now that I've started to grow vegetables, I really want to learn how to grow flowers. That's on my next to-do list for next season. Over here on 40, it was what do you drink? Do you like alcohol? What's your favorite drink? Because of my headaches, I can't have any alcohol, but I really do like making drinks for other people, especially when I can pair them up with a dinner that I'm making or a party or a meal. That's one of my favorite things to do for other people. 41 was do you like birds or outdoor critters? And I have such little fun bird friends outside of my studio. There are two little cardinals that sit outside in this tree right outside my studio window. I've named them Robert and Isabella. They are adorable, and I hope their relationship lasts for a really long time. 42 is what is your favorite music album? And I definitely couldn't pick just one, so I wrote down a whole bunch here, and I tried to pick one from a couple of different genres. 43 was an interesting question. The question here on 43 was, is there a specific piece of art that makes you think of a time in your life? And so I picked The Sopranos because I think The Sopranos, the HBO show, is hands down the best portrayal of North Jersey, the place that I grew up. I think it's hands down the best portrayal of North Jersey as I remember it growing up. Let's flip over here to 44. My food habits are mostly set by my headaches, so I have to eat pretty clean and I have to eat pretty regularly, and eating processed food, and especially too much processed food, is really terrible, and I will get like days of headaches. So I try to avoid that as much as I possibly can. Day 45 was did you ever have a nemesis? And so back in high school, this girl kept repeatedly trying to be like my like rival or nemesis, and I was like not into it. I just told her like, dude, I have like no time for this. Just go and find like some other person because that's just not my thing. So 46 was are you an organized person? And organization makes me so happy. I can't say with a straight face that I'm 100% organized all of the time, but when I am so much happier than when I'm not. And here's number 47, which is what is your favorite fiction book? And so I went with what is my favorite fiction book series and made an ode to Harry Potter. Used some Kelly Perky Potterhead stamps and this cool red gold pigment ink that I had so that I could kind of go with one ink color but still get the red and the gold of Gryffindor. 'Cause I'm a total nerd. Over here on 48, the question was, do you have pets? And we don't have any pets inside the house right now, but right off my studio, we do have tons of little creatures that I love watching. There's a little family of baby bunnies that are living under the deck. There are these crazy chipmunks that love to just jump off the trees right onto the railings of our deck, and it's just the funniest thing. So right now I'm totally content with the little outside creatures that we have. Number 49 was, what was the most severe weather you've ever experienced? And I wrote this question like 6 months ago, and it seems like totally on point for the insane weather that we've been having in North America the past few weeks. Personally, the most crazy weather I experienced was in Superstorm Sandy. I was still living in North Jersey at the time, but our apartment was, we lived on the second floor of a two-family house, and we lived on like the high ground of the town. So we were pretty much fine. The power went out for a couple of days, and we knew it was going to happen, so we were totally planned and ready. But other people were not as lucky. Some of my sister's coworkers, the water got flooded up to like their second floor of their house. It was like just totally crazy and horrible. But that was absolutely the worst storm that I had ever experienced. And so now we're on to number 50. And number 50 was about your friends. Who are your friends? And do you have a lot of them? Do they know each other? With a whole bunch of questions. And whatever way you wanted to take this, I chose to, instead of going out and naming each individual person, um, and absolutely, forgetting someone and making myself feel bad, I chose to kind of group my friend groups. So I have my person, and he's here and he lives with me. And then I have my mastermind group, and I love them and they're wonderful. I have my local friends who live here in East Lansing or go to MSU or have now since moved because they have finished that part of their programs. I have my family friends, my cousins, my sister. I have my friends from home, and I have my friends on the internet. I love all of my people, and they are super wonderful. I want to thank you so much for listening and watching through this walkthrough of my 100 Days of All About Me album. I will be back for another walkthrough, and if you would like to join in on this free project, you can go to theawesomeladiesproject.com/100days and join in for absolutely nothing at all. We cannot wait to see what you make. Talk to you soon.